Okay, I think we shouldn't punish those who are punctual, so I will let them in. And if you want, you can start in a bit.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the ELTA Live webinar series. If you are a returning visitor, then welcome back. If you are a first-time participant, hopefully you'll become a long-term attendee of the ELTA webinars, or perhaps an ELTA member. In this webinar, we will focus on pragmatic aspects of legal technology and specifically on using document automation as a backend tool for legal service delivery. I am your host tonight. My name is Orsolya Szabó, and I'm happy to be an ELTA ambassador for Hungary. Before my leap into legal entrepreneurship, I had been an M&A transaction lawyer with big law offices in Central Eastern Europe, based in Budapest, Hungary. I worked with White & Case and Dentons doing cross-border M&A transactions in the CEE region. Currently, in addition to my role with ELTA, I'm also a co-founder and CEO of Investi Legal Tech Consultancy, a management advisory firm advising business clients and law firms in Central Eastern Europe on optimizing legal work processes. As a quick reminder, we are recording this webinar and we'll share it later on ELTA's YouTube channel, so you can watch it later. Tonight, we will cover document automation from 4 different angles, and we'll have one panelist dedicated to each topic, sharing their own tips and tricks on getting document automation right for their clients and themselves in practice. So at this point, I would like to introduce tonight's guests, each of them a lawyer with a knack for innovative thinking. So welcome. Kaisa Kromhoff, co-founder and CEO of document automation platform ContractMill. Welcome, Alex Hamilton, co-founder and CEO of Radiant Law, an innovative law firm focusing on accelerating commercial contracting. Welcome, Florian Gerlach, attorney at law and university lecturer in Germany, co-founder of EOS, a consulting company advising organizations in the field of child and youth welfare. And last but not least, warm welcome to Hannele Korhonen, co-founder and chairman of document automation platform ContractMill, and a passionate advocate for using technology to improve access to justice. Thank you all for joining tonight's panel discussion, and let's get started with the 4 blocks of this webinar. So the first one is on digital transformation in legal. Why is it worth starting with document automation? Kaisa, questions to you, but first, please introduce yourself and share us a quick definition about document automation.
Very good. Hey, thank you, Orsi. Yes, so hello everybody, my name is Kaisa and I'm a lawyer. I come originally from the corporate legal world, having been general counsel of a company with a legal team and also been the client to numerous law firms internationally. So I kind of have seen the both sides of the world. First of all, maybe very shortly, what is document automation? Now you should be seeing the, wait a second. So what is document automation for those of you who might have not have so much knowledge about it? So if we think, what do we lawyers do? We produce documents. And how do we do that? We normally do it manually. It means that if we have to make a new custom draft, we take something, an old template, start copy pasting, deleting, finding certain words maybe in old agreements and so on. So document automation means that you can take your own templates that you use in your daily work and create automated versions thereof, so that the next time when you need to do a custom draft for your internal or external client, instead of this tedious manual modification process, you just answer a set of questions. And once you have answered these questions, you get the custom agreement in a matter of minutes ready. So that's in a very, very short, like, what is document automation?
Thank you so much. So you mentioned you are a practicing lawyer, and from that experience, what are the actual pain points in legal work that you think we can address with document automation?
Yes, so I have gathered here a few of the pain points in the next slide. These are pains that both in-house lawyers have, as well as then the law firm lawyers. So from the in-house world coming, the biggest thing is that how to do more with less. It means that the workload is often rising, but the resources are not rising in the same pace. Quite on the contrary, you might, as a GC, be requested to say that, okay, how can you do this, or cut a little bit of budget can happen. This kind of situation. So you need the efficiency. At the same time, you have troubles of often how to share the knowledge very well within your team, especially if you have team changes, you have new people coming in. How can I tell that new person that what are the options for us to negotiate a certain agreement? This also goes for the law firm side. Then again, if you have a junior associate coming in, you of course want that the juniors get very fast up to speed, but how to do that so that it does not end into a situation where you have to go on your firm aisle to the, hey, have you done this before? Do you have any good ideas how we could modify this? So knowledge management. Law firms also are more and more aware and thinking about the digitalization in general. It is coming. We talk about AI or everything, but especially the small and medium-sized law firms think, how can I do? What can I do? How can I prepare for this change and stay competitive when the technology is coming into play more? So all of these things go through, and also thinking how you can scale the services and create more value for the client. And as in my past, having been the client, if you are able to show to your client that you bring some additional value, or sometimes what the client doesn't even expect, or sometimes even something on commodity work on a little bit smaller price, that's very attractive and good strategy, because happy client is good client.
Thank you. So how does document automation as a tool actually help solve all these issues that we see here?
Yes. So the reason, the result, or I think the main reason why we are having these problems is the core fact that when we do our core processes, which is document creation manually, it is slow, inefficient, and it does not scale as a service. So how can we now do this is, of course, we have to automate the manual work, so that based on the automated, digitalized backbone, we can create and solve these problems. Yes, yeah.
Okay, thank you so much. Do you think the benefits are different in the case of law firms and in-house legal departments? So when they start using document automation tools, will there be any differences between the two groups of lawyers?
There's some are same, some are different. I have a few slides here as well. So what does it mean for law firms? For law firms, if you want to deliver digitally supported services, you have to digitalize the firm backend. So the document automation is really the kind of the basis on which you can then build these digitally supported services. It doesn't mean everything will be automated and digitally everything, but you have to have the core, the basis done so that on top of that, you can have innovative and scalable ways of providing the service. And then what does it mean in practice? So I have gathered here a few examples what it can mean in practice. So when you have automated the document generation, it means that you are able to sell value to your clients instead of time. In simple words, in 1 hour of a time, if you have automated something, you can sell it, like in normal life, you can in 1 hour sell 1 hour. But if you have automated the document generation, you can sell worth of 3 hours in 1 hour with your agreed fixed price or something. So this really brings scalability of business. You can also then generate documents directly from clients' inputs, which makes the client happy as well. It's super nice experience for the client when you have to ask the questions to them anyway. Or you can also let clients generate documents themselves if you choose so. And another way how you can build this scalable new business is that you can bring document automation anywhere. Well, of course, I'm coming from the company Contract Mill, and we provide this possibility that you can bring as a point solution generated automated content to your collaboration platforms, to your clients' systems, even directly, or to your own intranet or your firm website. And you can also sell automation projects, and that Alex is, for example, doing in his business. And then for the in-house, what does it mean for in-house? Well, it's really about making the in-house legal department as a business enabler instead of a roadblock that sometimes the business people might think that why do I always have to go to the in-house legal? Can't I just do more by myself? So it's really working lean, meaning that the work is being done where it's at the best done, and not everything has to come to the in-house legal. And it's also releasing the time of the in-house legal for the more complex work. And the benefits also for the in-house legal is that, as well as the law firms, that you can have your playbook, the different variations, what can you agree or want to agree, including the instructions right there inside of the document. So this is really empowering the business people, but also the legal team within themselves to share the knowledge better.
Thanks so much. This was a really comprehensive review of what are the benefits for in-house legal teams and law firms as well. So let's move on to the second block of this webinar and discuss the roadmap. What will be the do's and don'ts of document automation? Alex, this section is dedicated to you. Can you please introduce yourself and share a couple words about your background as a lawyer as well?
Sure. So I used to be a real lawyer, so I was a partner at a big law firm and had a kind of Jerry Maguire moment about 8 years ago and set up Radiant Law with a kind of strong sense that there was process, technology, all sorts of things that were possible to be applied to companies to help them with their commercial contracts, but which the law firms, I think, were struggling historically to offer, mainly because it came down to the billable hour and so on. So I decided to kind of start again. We set up Radiant Law 8 years ago. And we help kind of companies do their day-to-day commercial contracts as a managed legal service. We help in-house teams automate. We help them as kind of consultants on that front and help with large contract review projects. So we're avid users of document automation and have been ever since the beginning.
And what was the reason for you to start looking into document automation? Was there a specific client need for the tool?
So I started playing with it at the last law firm, and it was obvious that it's a no-brainer when you start using it. So
once you get there.
Once you get there, right? So it was the first piece of specialized tech we brought into the firm. So right from the very beginning, when we started 8 years ago, we were using document automation initially for internally for our documents. And then as we kind of developed managed legal services, so we kind of doing the day-to-day contracts for clients, we rolled it out for those clients. So the first client was in 2011. Doing that, and now I like to think that there's not a single agreement created at Radiant Law that's not done through document automation.
That's really amazing to hear. So do you think there's a roadmap, there's an optimal process for implementing document automation for a law firm and for clients as well as a managed service?
Yeah, so our kind of experience is really with in-house teams and helping them, so it's kind of focus on that. But it's really the same thing. So the starting point is that there are 3 steps, right? You got to get a system, you got to automate a template, and then your user creates the end document. So thinking first about how you go about choosing a system. There's Contract Mill, there are lots of other systems out there. There's quite a big variety around usability and sophistication. So one of the key questions that I'd start with thinking about is how complex are my documents really going to be? And do I really need the full-on features that the older systems tend to have and the newer ones tend to be lighter on? Our experience is law firms have much higher demands than in-house teams. And the reality is that most of the systems available on the market will meet most of the in-house team's needs. So it's kind of quite a flexibility. Second question I think about is you've got kind of a point solution versus end-to-end. So what I mean by that is there are some systems out there that are trying to cover the entire end-to-end contracting process, kind of requesting a contract help, creating the document, all the way through negotiation, signing it, and then managing it at the other end. Others kind of focus on one section of that. So you kind of need to think about, am I going to plug a bunch of systems together eventually, or am I going to put one big system? The problem with big systems, of course, is that they are a wonderful way of grinding a project to a halt. So we tend to use point solutions because we like kind of best of breed and we figured out how to integrate them, but there is an integration challenge otherwise. And you also need to think about integration from the perspective of what you also got in your business, right? So you need to think about, am I taking data from a certain place? Do I want to rekey it, or do I want it to come through automatically? You can get quite fancy with integration. You can also get into a swamp with integration as well. So again, kind of keep it simple, please. Finally, I think you need to think about my licensing models. So one of the surprises for teams can be if something's priced on, say, just a per user basis, is it going to ramp up high cost? If you're a law firm, I want to make this available to other people. Does the licensing model allow that? Does it allow it to my clients and so on? So you need to kind of think through some of the cost side of it. And then finally, you need to think about how the editing is going to happen. So some of the systems have got really good now, made it really simple in terms of creating the template, right? The second stage, the automation stage. However, the reality is there are not every lawyer in your team, whether you're in-house or external, is actually going to automate documents, right? Just not going to happen, right? We have people, still struggling to use email right now, right? It's lawyers.
True.
So you got to kind of think about that editing thing, and it matters that it's easy to use, but it's going to be a play-off with sophistication often, right? So that's kind of choosing a system. The bit about the automation and how you do it, the way it's going to work is that some people will jump in, right? You'll have the kind of people who love tech and they'll just go and play and all the rest of it, right? But a lot of people won't. So you're probably going to end up with a kind of a split between the expert on the document and the person actually doing the automation, either in-house or not. And you kind of need to think about where are you going to get that expertise from, right? So you can build it internally. There are people who will come in and work with a company, help automate some stuff, but also train, kind of a hybrid model. There's kind of an external model where people will do it as a service. So we kind of do it for some people as a service. And then you can also buy it through us from managed legal service. Just part of the deal is we'll just automate everything that moves around your stuff. But you kind of need to think about that. And then assuming you're not the person who's actually doing the automation, there's kind of this thinking process that needs to happen. So there's kind of find a document. You then got to figure out the bits that are going to turn on and off in the contract, right? And the bits that are going to be inserted. That's all that's happening with document automation. You're switching on and off language and you're inserting variables with maybe some magic rules in the background. But that's basically what's happening. So there's kind of a piece where you need to think about how am I going to get my team who are not going to be hands-on automating everything that moves. Maybe they're just busy. But how am I going to get that knowledge out of their head to mark up the document or whatever, make it as flexible as possible for them, right? If you get too rigid about how you have to get the information, you'll just disappear again into that swamp. And get them to write down the questions and kind of give you some clue about what this question relates to in the document. And then you kind of hand it over to someone who's become your chosen expert.
Yeah, that was a great roadmap. Thank you. So from this experience of 8 years with Radiant Law using document automation, are there any do's and don'ts that you suggest considering?
Yes, there are. All right, I'll give you 3. So first of all, we underestimate, I suspect, as an industry, the impact of the quality of first drafts of contracts. And we are seeing incredible data from all of our kind of work we're doing with clients that show that the biggest, best way of improving your contracting process is improving your standard terms. Right? And that your ability to make them short and reasonable and relevant and is going to have a bigger impact than any legal tech whatsoever. So before you start automating it, please get your terms good, right? I know that in-house teams can, typically take 6 months to improve a template. It always seems to be like law of physics, right, about how it happens. But it can also be done in a day with a bit of will. And so my first tip is get good templates before you automate them, right? Because otherwise you're just locking in. They can, of course, be improved over time. You lock in bad habits. Second is, we see people spend a lot of time on analyzing the systems and so on. And there's this term out there in the IT world of kind of analysis paralysis. And we see that all the time, right? Get something going, right? Ultimately, it's easier to swap a system, right? Even though you have to change the templates, you've actually done a lot of the thinking around which bits need to be switched on and off, the logic and the questions. It's way faster to automate the second time. I'd recommend just getting a system that's roughly going to do the job, right? That kind of seems right for you, and doing something rather than disappearing into it, becoming a massive project. And with our clients, we have a basic rule of thumb, which is if you can't get any client going in 2 weeks, with their documents all automated and so on, there's something fundamentally wrong. It doesn't need to be a huge exercise. And especially if you're buying a cloud platform and therefore don't necessarily have to integrate stuff, and it makes it a lot easier, but talk to your IT department first, because if they're going to freak out about that, you kind of need to know that one. Third is, it is very easy to disappear down rabbit holes with every single possible option and all of the possible exceptions. So please put the minimum level template up the first time around, and then just keep improving it. Right, the Pareto principle and all that, and 20% actually delivers 80% of the value. If you just get something which is just slightly faster to use the system than to do it manually, that is your threshold for going live, right? All of the different exceptions that everyone will think up and all the different stuff, you can add them over time. So you can keep iterating, improving it. And what you'll find is that a lot of the things never turn up in practice, right? The reality is that the vast majority of contracts produced will only have a few different parameters. And so if you can get those ones up and running, you've got most of the value in each of them.
That's great advice. Thank you so much for sharing. How about your customers? What was their feedback from the first years? Was it hard to get them do it together with you?
This stuff's basically like crack cocaine, right? I mean, you kind of, as soon as you get the users starting to create documents with it, they're not going back, right? There's no way they're going back. And I guess that would be the fourth tip would be, if you can get this in the hands of the business user, you as an in-house team will be heroes, right? Because especially with the sales teams, right? Because you know what it's like, they are always got the whale, they've just landed and they just want to get something out and they want to maintain momentum, and they know in their hearts of hearts they'll hit the in-house team on the other side and disappear for an amount of time, right? But they just want to get something going, and that's the point when they get most frustrated with the in-house teams and so on. But if you can just give the document automation to the sales team, right, knowing that there are only so many options there are, and therefore they can safely send it out, right, then you are going to be a hero.
That's really great to hear. Very empowering for lawyers indeed. Thank you so much. So let's move on to the third block of the webinar and discuss about the customer journey, the user perspective in implementing document automation. So Florian, I would like to invite you into the discussion. Can you please introduce yourself as a starting point?
Yes, I will introduce myself. Hello, everybody. I'm a lawyer from Germany, but lawyer is not my main profession. My main profession is to be a lecturer at a university for social work. So my students become social workers, mostly women, 80% are women. And beside that, I'm still a lawyer. In my first job, I was a lawyer in a small law firm here in my hometown. And I'm specialized in social law, as for sure, because I'm at this kind of university. And I have a company with a colleague who is business administrator, and our clients are mostly welfare organizations and companies that have orphanages and homes for handicapped persons. And we give them advice and questions about how to get money from the government, and they struggle a lot for this money, and that's our field we are specialized in. And the specialty with our customers is that we have like a couple of hundred customers that have contracts with us, and they pay us an annual fee, and then they get advice for this annual fee. We have extra customers, but we have lots of customers that pay us an annual fee, and we have to serve these customers, of course, with services. And we think that this document automation systems are a good service for them, because in the past we had a lot of customers that asked us over and over the same questions. And then we told them, well, just send us the information and then we will answer the question, or we'll write you something. And now we are starting to automate this this stuff, and we made templates so that the customers can help themselves. That was the idea, and that was the idea to go to search for a document automation system. So and as I heard you, Alex, we made the first mistake. We spent lots of hours, even days, for looking into different software programs.
Were there any specific features that you've been looking for?
Yeah, the most important feature was that we have to have a feature. Like I don't know if it's correct in English. We have to have a customer front end, so that our customers can use it, and because our main use is not to use it for ourselves. We use it for that purpose too, but the main goal is to give service to our customers. This is the main stuff, because we use
the client-facing tool for your organization.
That's the most important thing for us.
Yeah.
And our customers really like it. We have now like 30 up to 40 templates, like how is it called? These for if you want to give employer references, for example, or if you want to build easy contracts or data protection declaration. Is that correct? Or data protection? Yeah, papers.
Is it workflows or processes? So you do both contracts and non-contract type of documents,
yes,
right?
Yes, sure. And what we do also do is we combine these documents or these templates with videos that explain how to use the documents. So then we can show the customers how they can go through processes. Because we also have, sometimes our clients call us and tell us, well, we have a family that does not have money for an attorney, and then we can show them how they can go to court by themselves. And we can just tell them, well, use our 2 or 3 templates and have a look at these 3 videos, and then you can do it yourself. It's really easy, and that's what we do too. This idea came up to me. Well, this is a really funny thing. When I was 20 years old, I had an old BMW, and it was very expensive for me, but I didn't have the money to fix it. So I bought a book, and in Germany we had a book for this BMW, and it was called Help Yourself with this BMW, and that's the idea. So help
Understood.
yourself.
Okay, so it really needed to be a client-facing platform that you chose. Were there any other features that you, I don't know?
Easy to use is one very important thing. If we are thinking about using the document creation systems in our company, it has to be easy because it is not only used by us as lawyers and by us as people who are interested in technical stuff, but it is also used by our secretaries, and we also have students from our university in our hometown that help us, and they have to they should understand quickly what is to be done with these templates. And so the software has to be easy. And when I was doing my, how's it called? My research on the software, I saw a lot of systems that are very, very complicated. So it has to be easy to use, and well, that's what we found.
Thanks so much. So could you list a couple of use cases, how you actually use the document automation platform with your clients?
Yeah. One thing is, for example, the clients can they can build contracts on their own. They can build these employer references. They can build applications for special social needs. So I created a content where they can, for example, ask for help for them as a family, or if they have to have if they don't have a place in the kindergarten, can I say that? They can set an application to the to the administration, to our city, and then if the city would say, well, we don't have a place, or we won't give you one, they could go to the court and so on, and they could do all this with our templates. And well, the second thing is that we use it for our work as lawyers. If we want to do an application for the court, for example, we had these documents we had automated documents, of course, but we did it with a classical Word template, and we did all this copying and pasting, and now we transferred a couple of those documents to Contract Mill.
Okay, thank you so much for sharing your experience with this platform. And staying on this topic of access to justice, actually, or ensuring that clients have access to better legal services, let's move on to the fourth block of the webinar and discuss about the greater good. So using document automation really for accessing justice. Hannele, let me invite you into the discussion. Can you please introduce yourself before discussing further?
Sure. Thank you so much for having me here. Really excited to be talking about my favorite subject, this access to justice. So I'm Hannele, and I'm a recovering lawyer, as the phrase goes. So I have a background in both in-house counsel, and then I had my own law firm before I stepped into the world of legal tech in the form of Contract Mill. And my motivation for this whole document automation and legal tech world is really and have been because my wish to improve the access to justice gap that is really
so
huge in the world.
What is that? What is that greater good that document automation offers in terms of access to justice?
Yeah, the technology, of course, itself, technology is quite neutral. It can be used for good and bad, but the document automation is really it can be an excellent enabler for a greater good. And I think that the access to justice has two sides. access to justice problem has two sides. From one side, lawyers are too expensive for many people. There is the cost issue, and then but on the other side, the lawyers are also many times very difficult to approach. People don't really want to go to lawyers, or don't even know how to buy legal services. So and I think that the document automation and legal tech actually can have impact for both of these issues, because we can develop more approachable services with the help of document automation.
Exactly. From a law firm perspective, for instance, they could do more pro bono work or enable pro bono clients through offering document automation services. So,
but at the same time, I must say that the technology itself is not really a silver bullet to solve this issue. Technology can and is excellent support for providing legal services, but and I think that this is something that many service providers go wrong if they think that they can just provide do-it-yourself services and put some content online and say to the clients that go there and do it yourself, and you cannot really erase the human factor from this equation.
And that's not the goal either, right? Like, you want to give the value, but find the right tool for providing a better service and giving that value to clients pro bono or commercial. Yes,
exactly.
Could you share with us a couple examples of how access to justice cases use document automation, or in this context, like specific cases, how you've seen document automation used for access to justice?
Well, I think that the Florian's case is really an excellent example, and their use of contract mill has been really inspiring to see all the. It's not just contract, but it's all kind of documents that you can really use the tool. But I think that we have also seen that all kinds of actors in legal space can really benefit from document automation and can use it. And as Kaisa said, that law firms and in-house, all the law firms can use the document automation both internally, but also with their clients. So for example, authorities or governmental agencies or associations can really use document automation for their internal efficiency, but offer also, for example, smart templates for their members or clients, if you will. So that there are several use cases. And what we have seen in practice is, for example, a trade union has been looking at ways to provide smart templates for their members. And when they have this phone service to their members for employment-related issues, they can, while they are in phone conversation with the person, they can just fill in the questionnaire, and they have the document kind of ready even during the conversation, and not just gathering the information and then going back with the data and then sending the document to the person, but really doing that all at the same time.
Yes, so the client input actually is very much facilitated through document automation, getting it directly into the document.
Yes, but in this case, not really putting the client to answer the questionnaire, but the person on the phone can use the questionnaire for the customer service kind of way.
Yeah, that's a very interesting use case.
Yeah.
Anything else that you wanted to share as a use case?
Yeah, I think going back to what Alex said, that you can really start with the low-hanging fruits, and you don't have to think that you have to automate the whole document thoroughly. You can just start with some elements. For example, one authority is currently looking here in Finland that they would use document automation to generate their reports that they are making internally, and automate the parts that are combining some paragraphs from legal texts based on some rules, so that they are automating maybe 50% of the document, but that's already a lot compared to the fact that you would be copy pasting or doing the whole document manually from the scratch.
Yeah.
So even in this space, you can just start from individual cases and then start building the learnings from that.
Yeah, so I guess there's a mission for all of us lawyers beyond our current legal roles to really start facilitating a better service to our clients, whether we're providing pro bono work or for welfare type of work or commercial context. Thank you very much to everyone, the guest speakers, for your valuable insights. Let me ask the audience if there are any questions at this point that we should cover or address. Or perhaps while the audience is typing in questions into the message box, or you can just unmute your microphones and ask us directly. You can do that as well. I will ask the panel to share perhaps one piece of advice that you'd share with the webinar participants as a takeaway for implementing document automation in daily practice.
We should answer? Okay.
Yes, please go ahead, Florian.
Yeah, my advice would be, as Alex said, to start immediately with creating content. Creating content is one of the most, one of the things that, leads to a lot of work, and you have to think of the content, which is very important. And you should not underestimate to create the content. This is really the thing that you should start with, and then then putting it to the software or to the program that you use. The content is really important, and think about the content that you have to automate. And not every content is worth to be automated, for sure.
So how do you pick that?
Well,
is it the core of your service, like the best that you offer to your client, and why they are going to reach out to your services?
Well, most of it is really experience. So what are the questions that we are asked most? That is one thing. And another thing we are doing now is because we are thinking about selling it not just to our clients, but to like everyone. And we are analyzing in the German justice system and what field people struggle most. So this is for just researching where the market is the biggest.
Okay, thank you. Alex, I've just seen you. Did you want to go on with your advice?
Oh, I'm out of tips, but I would say that if you go to our website, radiantlaw.com, we've written down in the learning zone everything we know about this topic. There's a whole guide on document automation, there's a guide on legal technology, and all sorts of stuff. So it's all free. So it's all there.
Great, thank you. Kaisa, what would be your one advice, one takeaway for the participants?
Yes, I think I have to go a bit on the lines what Alex said earlier about the low-hanging fruits and just go out there, do it. And I mean, as a from our side, what we have built our product Contract Mail is all about the user experience and the easiness of use, and therefore I would kind of recommend to people to not to be afraid. Just go and take the solution that resonates with you. It's easy to go with and everything. And then I think for the in-house people, I would also say that bring it fast to the business people. We have an example, a customer whose legal team has been now automating documents for them, and they have tested it with the business, and the business just wants to go like, can we just start using it, and really like pushing even that I want more of this, I want all of this and everything. So understanding also like your customer, like that if you're in-house legal team leader, your customers are your business people, and when they get to improve their lives also, and so on. It's great to have the commitment from the organization, and there, of course, the user experience plays a big role.
So it goes beyond the legal. It also goes to the heart of the business. Yeah.
Yes, we are all people. We all have emotions. We want to be working with products and that don't feel
make our lives easier.
They make life easier, and they feel that, hey, I'm getting something out of this. This is nice. So not forgetting about the feeling, and that the same goes for law firms, that when you start thinking how I can serve my clients better, because it's all about, at the end of your biggest asset is your client. So how can I delight my client? How can I provide them more value? And they're just, of course, internal efficiency is a big deal, but as a law firm, I would start thinking beyond that. How can I serve and circulate about your client and your client's need, and how can I make more for them, and take that into consideration also when you choose the product.
Did you ever speak to clients who were resistant to it, who would say, it's easier to use Word than use your platform? Is there any such case?
I think it's more that people don't know about it. I think that's the biggest thing. If something, then people don't know what is all possible nowadays, and it's easy. I think that is rather the thing. And then, of course, some lawyers, if you think, okay, they might have the thought that I have to have 100% automated before it makes sense. No, that's not the case. So just as it was mentioned earlier, even if you have, 30%, 50%, 70% automated, it's great, because it releases your time to do other things. And for law firms, you can make a better business with it.
Thank you so much for sharing these thoughts on business perspective. And just going back a little bit to the access to justice approach, Hannele, do you have any piece of advice that you'd share with the listeners of this webinar?
Well, my advice would be maybe along the same lines as from the others, but really to keep it simple, because the simplest things can actually make the biggest difference. We lawyers tend to think things too complicated, and we may think that if we automate some minor issues, it's not enough, or it's not enough value, but really that can have a huge impact already. So really start with the smallest things and build it up.
Okay, thank you. Is there anything else you'd want to share with the audience, or shall we go back to questions? I'm not sure I've seen any questions. Julia, can you please help out if you've seen any questions from the audience?
There are no questions at the moment in the chat.
Okay, then I guess I will announce the next webinar and then wrap up tonight's webinar. So the next topic will be on digital transformation for law firms and corporate legal departments, digital transformation journey on how to use technology to drive that change in a law firm and corporate legal department. It will be held on the 18th of June, starting at 7 p.m. So you're welcome to join in for that one too. And we hope that all participants found this ELTA Live webinar helpful and got some inspiration for packaging old ways of working into technology. I'd like to thank you all for your attention and see you at the next ELTA Live webinar.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Have a nice evening. Bye.
Bye.